What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. We're going to do something a little bit different. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and the message out. Do that now, please, ASAP. Topics to be covered today. Let's go straight to it. Topics to be covered today. Last week, really quick, we talked about why women need or they feel like they need validation. So we talked about that last week, why women think that they need validation. And we talked about how, women think that they want their emotional needs met. But that's not what they really want. What they're really looking for is love, true love, God's love. And it's our job as men to, women to overcome as well and find that love within. But for men to lead by example and have that love to give and not cater to their emotions for the sake of them wanting it. So we got into that and the do's and don'ts, in my opinion, about approaching that type of situation. And it was deep. So you want to make sure you check it out. Also, today's topic. We're talking about that RIZZ. We're talking about that RIZZ. We're getting into it. I did a little deep dive into what I believe RIZZ is and what the original definition came from and all that stuff. And I just kind of want to speak on my thoughts about it. So we're going to get into RIZZ today. So make sure you tell your peoples. Also, if you want to call in and give your opinion on it or just talk about anything you want, past shows, whatever you want, you can call in at 888-775-3773 and we can get into it. Instagram, what's up? YouTube, what's up? Hi, y'all. It's good to be back for another Tuesday in this holiday season. Christmas is around the corner. Are you guys in the Christmas spirit yet? I'm not. I haven't found it yet. It hasn't hit me yet, but it's coming soon. Amazing. So let's get into it. Let's get into the stuff. Okay, because if some of you guys may know or some of you guys don't know, for the new people who are watching are not familiar with the network. The network is that I do my show on. It's called the Jesse Lee Peterson Network. And I am one of the hosts on that network. And earlier during the week, Jesse Lee Peterson, which is the founder of the network, he has his own show called the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. And he brought on what he calls his experts, which is myself and a few other guys here at the studio. And we talked about RIZZ and all this stuff. And it was so deep. It was so deep because it brought up a lot of it shined a light on just like what goes on within when we approach women or when women approach or when women just dating in general, right? And it really shined a light on it. And especially within myself that I really wanted to bring to light and talk about because, RIZZ is not a new thing. The name RIZZ is new. The thing RIZZ. It's almost weird to say. Like it just feels, but the definition of RIZZ has been around from the beginning of time, since Adam and Eve, right? But obviously RIZZ is the new name that Gen Z has coined. And but it's been around for a long time and we're going to get into it. And I'm going to tell some stories about, some experiences I had, with RIZZ and all that stuff. So we're going to get into it. And like I said, you can call in 888-775-3773 and we can get into it. So, on the show, we were just talking about it, and then it made me think about some things. So I thought about, okay, well, what is RIZZ? I wanted to understand what this, and I've heard it and I've seen it and I know what it is generally, right? Generally. And I knew what it was generally. Like, you see it all over social media and all that stuff. And what it really is, for the people who don't know, is like how Gen Z has adopted it and used it is like, who can be the smoothest with the ladies? That's really what it is. Like, who can really have that smooth approach and can, you know, get the women and have multiple women and use it on multiple women and be able to do it in the smoothest way and really do it that way. So it's more so of like a competition. Who has the most RIZZ? Who got the RIZZ? And there's this thing online where, like, you know, like, it's like a joke thing. It's not like serious. Like, it's not real competition, right? But there's the Gen Z people. They'll be like, oh, look. They'll play videos of like different guys using RIZZ on different women, and they'll like take notes. And they'll use it, right? And all it is the game. You know how the whole thing goes. When one guy likes a girl and he goes talk to her, and when he's talking to her, he's saying certain things in a certain way to get her to like him and all that stuff. So that's, in a nutshell, what RIZZ has become. But how I've always known it and to be is like charm, right? It's like, I mean, they say there's different words for a game. What's some other words, Hassan? You know? I'm
not really sure.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting put up on all the RIZZ as far as the Gen Z terminology.
Yeah, exactly.
But that makes sense. Like smooth player.
Smooth player, exactly. That's the whole. That's in the realm of what RIZZ is.
Which just sounded extremely old.
Right.
Saying those things right now. Any Gen Zers just turned it off due to me chiming in.
No, I think when I first started it, when I pressed play. No, but yeah. So that's the idea of what RIZZ is. But what it is really. Like, if we're getting to the root of it, is who can tell the best lies? That's what it is. That's what RIZZ is. That's what charm is. That's what game is. Who can tell the best lies to win the prize? That's all it is. And it's so crazy because I've been using this for so long. And I've been using it in a sense of like, and I'm going to give examples. I've been using it in a sense of like, I don't spit game to people. Like, I don't spit game to females. Like, I don't go up and, like, it's never been my style. And just because it's just not my type of thing, right? But I use the same energy in a different way. And I'm gonna get into his examples. But let me just talk about charm for a second. And then I'm gonna tie it together. And what it actually means, what all this means, and how it ties to relationships and dating, and how it's the very reason why relationships don't work. It's the very reason why marriages don't last. And I want to tie all that together. But are you following me, chat? How you guys doing, chat? Hassan's dog has RIZZ. Sandy got RIZZ without saying nothing. How you doing, Instagram? Everybody good? Okay, cool. So charm. So back in the day, I think that was a word that people use, like, oh, he's a charmer. He's very charming, or like he's very charismatic, right? And from the beginning of time, men used charm to approach and entice women, right? From the beginning of time, men have used their charm to get women, right? To entice women. From the beginning of time, also, women have used their charm to be approached by men and to be enticed by men as well. So both men and women both use their charm, right? This has been a thing. It's been something that's been done from the beginning of time. That's how men and women attract each other, is they use their charm, right? That's what the main way most people know is to use charms. Not knowing, though, that charm in itself is the beginning of a toxic relationship. Charm, RIZZ, charisma, all of it is all the beginning of a toxic relationship. Why? Great question that you ask. Because all charm is, all this influence, and we have different words that people use to make it better, like influence and like all these different things, right? But all what it is a seduction. It's a seductive nature. So when you're a man who sees a pretty girl walking, right? And the pretty girl is making it obvious that she's looking at you, you're looking at her. What she's doing is she's putting on her thing, right? And I'm not saying this is evil, right? But it's ego at the end of the day. But she's putting on like her good mask, her cute mask, right? And what's happening is that she's putting on what she knows men are gonna like. Over time, you develop this, like, it's a skill set. It's almost a skill set. And the skill set makes it seem like, I don't know, it makes it weird, but it's a skill set, right? Because you become so good at understanding what people like that you're able to turn it on and off. I'm able to do that, but I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna explain my story in a second. But a female will turn that on, right? And what that does is it like attracts the men. It's like the hook. So they know how to move, they know how to act and behave, that the man is like, wow. It gives off an energy. It really is. And it seems like crazy, but it's very true. It gives off an energy that influences people to want to be around you, to want to be with you. Girls know what I'm talking about. And guys know too. So the guys will go up to the girls because they see that and they're like hypnotized and they do it. But once the guys get to the girl, the guy turns on his RIZZ, his charm, right? And he's doing what he knows he does that the women is gonna like. He'll cater to her, he'll move a certain way, he'll smile a certain way, his hand gestures, all of that stuff is all part of a demeanor, a skill set that has been developed to win the prize. And this has been happening since the beginning of time, from the very beginning. This is not new thing that Gen Z made up. This has been happening, right? So when we do that, what usually happens is now we start talking to the person, right? And what do we do the whole time? From the second we meet the person and to the first like year of dating, what do? We try to impress each other. We put our best foot forward, right? We're trying to say all the right things. We're trying to move in the right way and all these things to make sure what's the end goal? We get the prize, right? We get what we want. And we totally lie. Right? Or we like stretch the truth. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to lose the person. And in our hearts, our intention is to try to approach it in a genuine way. Not always, right? A lot of the times it's for, sexual reasons, right? You just want to use the person. In all cases, you want to use the person, but if we're gonna compare it, in some cases it's a little bit, the the attention is a little bit more genuine, we could say, right? But yeah, you're just trying to impress the person the whole time. You're just trying to impress the person. You want them to like you. You want them to think that you're everything that they want you to be so you can get them. And then you guys use each other. But it's so deep because I've done that in many situations. In many situations. And I didn't realize really until, even though I knew that it was ego, Like, you know, when I would be out or I would see an attractive woman, then I like, you know, then I put on a different little thing. Like I knew that it was ego, but I really like understood it recently. Like it really hit me because I'm gonna give you guys an example. It's a little embarrassing, but not really. I don't care. Is that because I dance, and I've been dancing for a long time, when my friends and I would go out to the club or a bar or whatever, like in my teen years and like in my 20s, we would go out and every time we would go out, it would be us and the guys, and we'd just be having a good time. And then because I dance, every time the music is on, I'm just like moving, doing my thing, right? But I always knew the right moves to do and the right vibe to have in the club that would like do something that would attract the women. And we would go out and I would dance, and every time that would happen, I would do the same thing. I would turn the switch on and we would get all the girls surrounding us. And my friends would hype me up. This is a true story. My friends would hype me up. I would do my little dance. They would do one too. And then we would just like vibe off of each other, right? And it would always we would never go talk to females like that. Sometimes we would, right? But we would never go out our way. Like we would just do our little thing in the dance floor and they would all flock every single time, undefeated, every single time it all happened. And then we would have our choice at what girls that we wanted to talk to. This is a real thing. And we would do that every single time. And for a very long time, I thought that this was like a manly thing. I thought this was very manly. Like, okay, I have a certain type of influence that I have over women that make them want me. And, yeah, I have this dominance that, you know, that are attracting women. But what I'm really doing is seducing them. I'm seducing them. And all just to satisfy my ego, all just to feel good from being wanted, right? Just to want to be wanted. But the thing is that every time that would happen, now you have to keep up this RIZZ. Now you got to live with the RIZZ, right? Because you got them with the RIZZ. Now you got to keep the RIZZ up, right? And the female or the male, whatever the dynamic is, the female or the male, now they're all they liked you for your charm, for your RIZZ, right? That's the reason why they liked you. So guess what happens? When the RIZZ runs out and you just become a real normal person with problems and issues and all that stuff, then we say, well, you're not the same. You act different. I don't know if I like him anymore. I don't know if I like her anymore. Da, da, da. And then you start to see the real person. So you put on this facade to get them and you try to keep up this facade, but you ran out of energy because it's not real. And then you see the real person and then now you don't want the person. But this is what happens. People get in marriages because of this. They get in marriages with this. That beginning stage of excitement is all phony charm and RIZZ. Trying to keep up the charm and RIZZ. That's the whole relationship. The whole excitement Is all that kind of stuff. And once a real person comes out, then they realize they don't want to be together. But guess what happens? Souls are already way too tied together. Way too tied together, right? So then problems arise because your souls are tied. Now they can't look at another person. Now everybody's jealous. Now let me get your phone password. Now all this stuff comes up because you never even knew the person. It was just the imagination believing that this person is perfect and manly and a great woman and all these things, right? All this imagination thing, these fake things, because you were putting on an act. Am I making sense or no? It was all because you're putting on an act. But now the souls are tied, so when you break up, oftentimes a woman more than a man are now heartbroken. And they can't believe it, and now they depressed, feel like suicide. Because they put everything into this person, into this idea, really, the idea of the person, and you thought you were in love and you loved the person and you guys laid down with each other, and then you guys told each other stories about deep, dark secrets, and now you think that you trust this person and all that stuff, and it's just all not real. And I know we all go through it, and I know we've all have gone through it, so I understand the process, but it's not real. It's not real. And then sometimes, unfortunately, people have children and people get married and then they divorce and the children have to grow up overcoming and trying to figure out what the heck is going on with them. Why do they feel this way? I'm a result of that story. I'm one of those children. Now having to carry the sins of the parents. I didn't ask for this. You know what I mean? But that's the story. All because of this RIZZ. All because of this charm. And I wanted to get into, and then I'm going to take some calls if you guys want to talk. You can call in 888-775-3773. There are lines that are open, so call in. And chat, you can't get on me about calls because y'all aren't calling in. So anyway, maybe I'll look at some messages as well. But yeah. So the solution, I think, though, too, and I'm victim of this. I'm like guilty of this. And like I said, I thought it was manly. I thought it was like strong, alpha. You know what I mean? But I was doing the same thing that the woman was doing, that the women do, which all comes from the ego. You just want to use them. You just want to use them up to satisfy your ego. What are you guys saying here? Joel, 5 fingers. I'm going to tell you guys what I think the ultimate RIZZ is. The ultimate RIZZ. The best way to go about dating and relationships that will help you avoid all these unnecessary issues that don't even have to happen at all. And marriage, death do you part. But let me read some of you guys' messages here. Joel is burdened by his RIZZ. I had that RIZZ. Oh, I wanted to say that too, is that my type of, my style of rizzing up the girls was never like spitting the game, like going up to them and like saying all the right words. I just knew how to ignore them enough. I knew how not to care. I knew how, like I said, with the dancing stuff, I knew how to attract them, and I knew how to say just enough. But I never like, how can I put it? I never was like lying to the sense to where I would like say, and sometimes I did, but I wouldn't say like, you're so beautiful, I love you, and you're so great, and you're precious, you're worth everything. I didn't say stuff like that. I just knew how to when to speak and when not to speak. And that's how I did my thing. Like it was like a quiet RIZZ. But it was still there. So mine might have been more deceptive. Let me ask Hassan real quick. Hassan, how would you RIZZ up the ladies? Hassan, how would you RIZZ them up?
Man, I don't got no RIZZ. I'm realizing more and more of all this conversation. Zero RIZZ, my brother.
How did you used to RIZZ up the girls?
By saying I have no RIZZ. That's the ultimate RIZZ.
But what about when you were like in the fallen state?
Yeah. That would be my move. My move would be like, man, you know, you're way out of my league. I ain't got no RIZZ. You know, like I ain't got no game. I'm corny. You know, you kind of go in, you go towards it. And that's really the RIZZ.
Okay, I got you.
That's the RIZZ way.
And do you find it, did you find that to be like proper, or do you find it to be the same? Like just RIZZ in that way?
Yeah, I like that way. I still do that way. Just in life, you know, like just keep things real meta.
What does that mean?
Like just kind of, yeah, just being you know, just open, transparent with the with whatever's going on.
Okay. Do you think that saying like, I don't got, like going up to the girl and saying, I ain't got the RIZZ, I'm not even good enough to talk to you, it's still like a agenda, a RIZZ, like a deceptive RIZZ?
It could be, yeah, that's true.
But is it, or is it like a genuine, like I don't got?
I think it's genuine because you're just letting them know from the jump that like you ain't, you know, you're trash.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
But is the agenda on it to still get the girl? Is the mission still to get the girl?
I think whatever comes with it, which usually, I think it all depends. I think it all depends, but I think whatever comes with it. At least now they kind of know that you're like, oh, okay, well he's, you know, he's kind of being he's being honest and he's kind of silly. Oh,
perfect. So would you say like, from your experience when you've done that, was the intent behind it to like, you knew that doing that works and is still gonna get the girl and you still wanted the girl, or was it like, I'm not really tripping on it type intent?
Well, I mean, I think back in my old days, when you shoot so many shots, you know, you gotta just get your shots up. That you don't really care. You just throw it out there, and you know.
Okay.
And you keep it at least somewhat honest. You know, you keep it at least 70 to 30 as far as the keeping a real meter. I think that's better than like
70. Oh, I see. So
it's
like
better than what usually people are doing, which is probably 20/80 or 10/90. Right. You know what I mean?
So you mean like 70% honest, but 30% like playing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think a lot of people, you know, most people are showing up as their representative. You know what I mean?
Meaning
like
what? What do you mean?
Like, hey, this is who I want you to see for the first couple months of dating. Right. And then all of a sudden, a year down the road, the real you comes out.
Right.
There's a bunch of issues.
Right.
So I think it's good to just like shock the system right up front, because if they're cool with the cold plunge, then anything else after that, they're like, okay, well, this guy started off basically insane. So there's nothing that could really shock you or surprise you.
I understand.
But you got to do it in a RIZZ-ful way, though.
But like, would you?
You know what I mean?
So in RIZZ-ful as in seductive?
Not seductive, just like the Joker, or like, you know, you got to still be
flirty.
Yeah, you got to be flirty. You got to be. And some people are really into just, I think, real, like, shocking things at first. Yeah. Because you got to understand, a lot of these women, they're getting hit on 10, 15, 20 times a day.
For sure.
A day. So, you know, they've heard everything under the sun.
So you think that... So what's the alternative then? So if this is the case,
the alternative is you want to flip the script. You want to figure out how to flip the situation. But like you were talking about how you know what I mean? You did an allude, like you allude. You know what I mean? You gotta figure out how to flip it.
But do you think that that's still from the same spirit? You just found a new way to do it that's different than...
yeah, it's evil.
Okay.
This part's evil, what we're talking about. Okay. Yeah, this is future. This is and
you know what's
this is manipulative and toxic.
And that's the way that I've done it. That's literally the way, even still to this day, I've done it. What Hassan just said is that I would do it in such a way. I'm probably revealing too much, but whatever, we're already here. But
I probably shouldn't open up that box.
No, it's all good. But I do it exactly what Hassan is saying. Like I've done it that way too, is that like, you know, you're not going to be corny about it because you know that you're not that corny type of guy, but you find a way to, and you know, it's not like if you intentionally like sitting at home, I don't know if it's for you, but, and I'm sure if it was, you wouldn't say it. But like sitting at home, like how do I figure out how to get them, type of thing. But over time, you start to see like, okay, my RIZZ is individual to me, and this works, and this is how I do it, and it's not like how everybody else is doing it. You following me?
Yeah.
And that's what it is for me, is that I just found a new way. Like Hassan was saying, I just found a new way to do it that was different than everybody else, but yet I felt comfortable doing it, but it still came from the same place. I would be quiet. I would say the right things. I would know when not to say things, like it just all came from the same place. Because like Hassan said, guys are approaching girls often. But the number one thing that girls love is the not getting attention. They love the attention, but they love not getting the attention. Yep. You know what I mean? But anyway.
That's what I was just going to say real quick, too, in closing. I was going to say that, and it's honestly an attention battle with everything. Think about YouTube, think about podcasts, think about, we're living in an attention, like eyeball is the currency. The currency now is eyeballs and attention, right? Yeah. So that is what you're doing. You're trying to shift the attention pendulum.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is when you do the cold plunge approach. What happens is now, because as men, we're attention has been caught by the beauty of the woman or whatever, right?
Right.
So now she's in the attention upper hand, because now we're using our eyes and the aesthetics.
Yeah.
But then you got to flip it, and then now make her interested. Like, right. Whoa, this person is really something else. You know what I mean? This person's really confusing. I'm kind of worried. You know, I don't know if I'm fully set. You know, all these different things.
Yeah.
Now flips the attention meter.
Yeah.
Onto you. So it's all about eyeballs and attention.
No, but that's
like that
crazy.
Asian kid that we watched.
That's crazy. Yeah.
The JLP show. It's all about, you know, the algorithm.
But that's actually the greatest example, because I didn't even know that I was flipping the attention thing, like Hassan is saying. I didn't even know that I was flipping it, meaning like doing it differently so that way it works, because the women are so used to it one way. I would just do it, and in the moment learning what's working and what's not working. And I knew that a certain way always worked, so I would do it. But not even realizing, like, I'm continuing to adjust myself to find a way to always be dominant, always make them want me. And that's what it was, is that, okay, how do I find, and consciously, I'm not having this conversation in my head, but subconsciously I'm saying, how do I get her to want me and feel like she wants me? Although I don't even really want her, how do I make it so she wants me? And subconsciously, even though I knew that it was ego, but subconsciously, I'm changing my ways of doing things to figure out how to continue to win, continue to win, and RIZZ up the girl. Because I'm able to quickly understand, I think this part of it where it comes from, I'm able to quickly understand what she's interested in, what she wants, what she likes, by behavior patterns that I've noticed over time in different females. What the? So you you recognize the behavior patterns and you adjust yourself to the behavior patterns. And you almost like master those patterns, and you're able to approach it and always be the dominant one. That is so insane. And I just understood that right as I'm explaining it to you guys right now. It's all from the ego, and it's all evil. Because you end up using the person with it, and it's only to satisfy your needs. It has nothing to do with the other person. You don't even care about the person. You don't love the other person. You just want to use them. That's all it is. You just want to use them. And what's crazy is, I have to get to this part. What's crazy is, this is how the ultimate idea and the ultimate way of approaching all things is learning how to not have an approach. And let me explain it, because and people always ask too, like, how do you find, this is deep. People always ask, how do you find the one you're gonna be with forever? How do you find your husband or wife, the one you're gonna marry? How do you find them? How do I go about dating? How do you do it? You don't go about it. Every meaningful relationship I've ever been in my entire life, which is not that many, but the ones that were meaningful, the real deal, whether it's relationships like boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, or friendships, like true friendships. And think about the true friendship in your life. Every time, it always landed in my lap. I never went for it. I never searched for it. I never even tried for it. As a matter of fact, both the relationships that I've been in, they were in my face, and I almost didn't recognize them. I didn't recognize them right away. It wasn't like, oh, I want her. That wasn't the case. I had to realize, like, wow, it's in front of my face. And the reason why it's so great that way is because that is when God can add things to your life, whether it be friendships or relationships. He adds them to your life. And when he adds them to your life, he takes away the temptation. Without temptation, there's no agenda. So if there's temptation there, if there's ego there, if there's interest, there's want, there's desire there, your only pursuit is to use the person, deceive them, use them up, abuse them, and leave them. Spit them back out. That's your only intention. And that sounds harsh and crazy, but that's the truth. If you have any desire or want, you just want to use and abuse it. Even if in your heart you say, I have good intentions. When it's added and you're not searching for it and you're not going out your way to get it and it's just added to your life, there's no temptation to it. And when there's no temptation, you have no choice but to work on the friendship of it, the connection of it. And it becomes pure. It's a pure relationship. It's a pure connection. And then you start to build off of that because you're not distracted by the sexual temptation, the sex, or any of that stuff, because that's not why you're interested in them. You're interested in them because of that connection that was added. And now you guys start to build off that connection. And it doesn't mean that temptation may not try to creep in and stuff like that, but that's not the root of your relationship. So when that happens, till death do you part. And obviously there's still challenges and stuff too, right? Obviously there's still challenges. And like I said, doesn't mean that you can never be tempted and you'll never fall. No, there's still going to be challenges, but the foundation is different. It's built on something different. So you still will have challenges and you still have to watch yourself and die to the ego needs, right? You still have to die to it. But once both people are in agreement and can see that the true connection is what it is and all this other stuff around it is meaningless, and to endure it and to stick the course, then you guys will get to a point to where you guys both see each other so clearly that you can never divorce. And I don't want to say never because I'm not God, right? But it's till death do you part, because you see what love is, like true love, the real deal. And you can't unlove somebody. Once you see the person, you know who they are, and you see them, and they see you, you can never unlove them. You can never, if they fall away or they get caught up in their head or they take a left turn, you can't unlove them because you know who they really are. You know what I'm saying? So the real RIZZ is not having RIZZ, and that's not hard. Trust me, I'm probably gonna leave this studio and RIZZ it up. I'll go to the gym and see the girl at the gym. Good boy, get the RIZZ. But that's the ultimate. That the point is that the ultimate thing is to just be, meaning like learn how to grow into not wanting anything. And the females see the light in the men that don't want them, but not just because they're pretending to not want them, because they really are just take it or leave it. And that's the ultimate RIZZ, because that way God can add it on to you, and the females will follow you because they see and recognize that you don't need them, you're not dependent on them, you're not attached to them. You're you and you're doing you. I don't know, I'm still learning too, y'all. I'm still learning too, so I may not have all the details right, but the point I'm making is valid. You know what I mean? Dang, I'm already out of time. But let me get to, I got a few minutes here. Do me a favor, y'all. If you have any, I didn't mention it earlier on the show, and then I'm gonna take. Oh, I got a couple calls. Do me a favor. If you have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV and donate a donut. Or you can send a super chat in the chat box here and support the show. I appreciate it. And also, I will read your comments or questions out loud, whether it be the topic at hand or whatever the case is. But you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV or super chat directly on YouTube in the chat box there. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I do my best to try to read them. So I appreciate you guys. In chat, I wish I had time to read some of these messages here. I can't always read them, so yeah, you can send a chat and I can read it directly. All right, let me take some calls real quick. Man, so how come you guys want to start calling in at the end of the show? What the... But I'm going to try to get to everybody. So let me go to, let me go to Hector out of New Mexico. Hector, welcome to the show, man. You're on the air. Make it brief, as quick as you can. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call on short notice.
Yeah, no problem, man.
But I just wanted to elaborate on the RIZZ thing. I just wanted to say not to place too much emphasis on the RIZZ, because I feel like it's becoming overkill at this point.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I'd rather conserve my energy expenditure than to give it any more attention than what it needs.
Right.
But I feel like you guys touched on the subject pretty well. But yeah, I wasn't going to call in, but I was like, I need to try to sneak in a little bit if I can.
Yeah, try to quickly get to the point, though, just so I can get to the next.
No, that was my point. I just wanted to just quickly say that.
Oh, say it one more time. Sorry, I missed it.
No, I was just saying that not to place too much emphasis on the RIZZ thing, because I feel like it's being blown out of proportion, and I get it. Like the Zoomers coined the term,
yeah,
and it's interesting, but I feel like it's starting to maybe have an effect of inflating the ego, and that's all I want to say.
Right on, man. I appreciate it. Are you saying like I shouldn't harp too much on it? You're saying people in general shouldn't put too much attention on the RIZZ thing?
I'm saying in general, but I'm saying also that, because I didn't think that you were going to elaborate on it this long on the show.
Oh,
but I get it. It's a new term, and it's making everybody feel good.
Right.
And I think that things that make you feel good, it's a lie, in my opinion.
Right. Right on, Hector. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling.
Have a good one.
All right, man. You too. Let me go to Brian out of North Carolina. Brian, welcome to the show, man. You're on the air. A few minutes left here.
Yes, sir. I'll keep it. Well, I was going to share my little lifetime story of going through different RIZZs, but I'll hold off on that one.
Okay.
You hit the nail on the freaking head just now, man.
Which part?
You called it the ultimate RIZZ. I don't want to call it that, because the way I see it, it's just a light. But you are so right when you say, not wanting them, and I don't know how to explain it, but there's something that in order to get to not wanting them, you really have to go through some things.
Right.
But be aware of it as you're going through it. And I just don't want to call it RIZZ no more.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a weird word, but it made the point.
No, the point definitely is all the way across the map right now.
Right
You
on.
definitely laid it out today. So I was looking forward to sharing my experience. Was a little funny. I shared the same thing you did with the silent, quiet, kind of knowing when to speak.
Yeah.
And kind of pretending to not want them.
Yeah.
That came for me later in my adult life.
Yeah, okay.
But most of my early adult life, I felt like I didn't have RIZZ.
Oh,
and
okay.
I really didn't notice it that much because it's not to say that I didn't, have my hands full. But at the same time, I realized that me having RIZZ later on helped me realize that they both are fake and phony. It's like false power.
Yes, sir.
And it never works out either way. That's how you know it's phony.
And we'll live a whole lifetime like kind of knowing it, but never correcting it because it's just how people live, and it's so normalized in society to like talk to girls, flirt, and rizz them up, throw the charm on. It's so natural. Meanwhile, at the same time, relationships, divorces are out of control, but it's never talked about. So, yeah, man, it's an interesting topic, really, to be honest.
And shout out to Hassan. He said he called it a cold plunge.
Yeah,
I did that once to a girl, man. I was at a party and I'm rizzing her up the whole time I'm there, and then I got ready to leave and she followed me outside and she says, "You're not gonna get my number?" I said, "No," and I left. And you know what she did? She found me.
Yeah. He knew how to work it. Hey, right on, Brian. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right, you too. Man, I'm so out of time. Callers, I can't get to you. I was gonna try to squeeze in everybody real quick, but I'm so out of time. But you guys just gotta call in a little bit earlier, and then I'll be able to get to you a lot quicker. There was nobody on the lines here, so I just kept on going with my message. But I appreciate you guys calling in. I appreciate the super chats as well. I got a couple super chats. Watching Joel Friday while rizzing corn with the menthol. From Kayla. Thank you, or Kale. Thank you, Kale. I don't know quite what that means, but I appreciate it. Fargoth says, God bless Joel. Right on, man. God bless you too. I appreciate you guys. I got to end really quick. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Smack it later. Smack down the like button. Like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the message out and the subscribers up. You know how it goes. I'm also on all podcast platforms. Audio only. If you want to listen audio only for whatever reason you're driving or whatever, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Spreaker, TuneIn, all those platforms. Just type in Joel Friday TV or Joel Friday TV podcast, and I should pop right up, and you can listen to me audio only. Amazing. Until next time, I appreciate you guys. Joel Friday TV, the gift of the dance. Follow me across all platforms. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson for allowing me to be a part of the network. Thank you, Hassan, James, and Nick, Sean, the whole crew, everybody. Amazing. Thank y'all. Until next time, bye.